Hello folks, Junkie Rock 13 here. Everything vaping related, it's Junkie Rock 13. I have a new show over on Elixir TV on Saturday nights, 6 to 8. Check it out. Gratefully Dedicated Vaping. Me, Ross Sanders, Junkie Rock 13. Today, it's not a review, sort of. It's more like a tutorial. And I have a nice contest. Here is the Vivi Tank. The Vivi Tank, straight out of the box, is a fail for me. I am not going to do a review on it. I'm not even going to talk about it. It's just a fail. I don't like the way it wicked. I didn't like the way it tasted. I messed with it. I did not like it. But with some modifications and a little help with Scuba Bat Dan and his technique that he used, I can't take credit for this. I followed his procedures. I turned this into a Genesis tank, and it works awesome. So I'm going to show you how to do that and wrap a wick, or roll a wick, wrap a coil, and talk about a contest. So let's get right to it. It's going to be a long video. I'm sorry guys, I have a lot to cover. Let's get right to it, and I'll talk about that contest at the end of the video. Let's see what we got. Alrighty, here's making a Genesis mod out of the Vivi tank, a Genesis Addy tank, I should say. Straight out of the box, like I said already, it's been a total fail for me. But brand new one out of the box. Now I'm not gonna mod this tank right here. I have one already done, but I'm just gonna take this apart. Because this is kind of a special tank, and I'll get to that in a minute. And I want to lube up these O-rings because there has been some major issues with taking these apart. Right here is the mouthpiece with the top cap incorporated all into one piece. Okay, my fingerprints already. And every time I get something new like this, I always rinse it off, especially when it's been in a factory and been handled by other people's hands and it's going to go in my mouth. I always clean them off. But this one is very nice mouthpiece, very nice top cap, O-ring incorporated right in there. I'm going to take that and put that off to the side. And this is the tank system right here. There's your wicking system in there. If you'd be able to get a good sight of that up. It doesn't matter because I haven't used it only once and found out it was horrible. But taking this apart has been an issue for many people. Once they go and pull this cap off, the center post splits apart. Now I've had it happen 3 times to me, and it'll probably happen to you. What I have learned is once you get this apart, put some lubricant on the O-rings. Whatever you want to use, juice, oil, whatever. I mean, a little vegetable oil wouldn't even help or hurt, or olive oil or something. I mean, a very little bit. Enough just to lubricate this up so it's not so tight in there. But what I have learned is you want to spin it to get it off. Okay, and you can notice it's starting to spin. Some of them don't spin right out of the factory, so you have to work with it. But once you get the bottom O-ring off, you want to like turn a little more so you can clear that bottom cap, and then give it a little bend. So then it's at an angle like that, and then it'll come right off. Now this is just a typical polycarbonate tube from Smoktech. This is the same tube they used on their DCT tanks. A little frosted color. So I'm not sure if that's going to be prone to all the different juices cracking it or not, but I think this one, it doesn't. I'm not 100% sure, so please do not quote me on that. We're going to set that off to the side. Now this is just, you can notice there's a little like dust in there. Let me grab a little rag. See? So that's why I never take a tank straight from a vendor and just put juice in it. I always rinse it out with warm water. But here you go, folks. That's what it looks like. But what I'm going to show you is how to destroy this. So this is the one that we're not going to do, and this is the one that we have already done. So what I would need you to do first off is take a screwdriver and remove both of these screws. Remove both of the screws and the little center post over here. Take out the wick and the wire and remove it, and then take a little dental tool or something. Make sure you don't gouge the O-rings, and remove the O-rings for this process, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then you'll end up with this: no O-rings, and the screws are missing. Okay, so on the top over here, you basically have the long post on the outside and the short post on the inside. But for the Genesis, we're going to do that backwards, and we're going to put this tall one on the inside and the short one on the outside. The hole right here that the wick is running through, I hope you can see that good. This hole that the wick is running through, right next to this post, this hole is going to be drilled out with a 3/32 drill bit. Okay, you can see that's what I drilled that out to, 3/32, and that is pretty much the only thing being used as a tool that's going to be done over here. So then what you want to do after you have your center post, the reason why you're going to remove your O-rings is when you're drilling this piece does get very hot, and I've actually had an O-ring melt on there. So just make sure you remove your O-rings. After you have your hole drilled there, and you have everything removed still, you can take your solder gun, and you notice that here you have a hole there, the air hole, and over here I had soldered up that hole. Now make sure your solder does not touch, let me put it like that, how's that? Make sure your solder does not touch your outside, which is your negative, and just stays in the center of that little hole. Now you just have to put a little piece of solder in there, you know, and cover it up. But that's all you will have to do tooling wise with this piece. The last thing that you're going to be doing, the one screw that you took out of the center right here, you're just going to take a little cutting tool and cut it in half. I cut it directly in half, and this allows me to, it won't go all the way through and stick out the bottom like it does over there. You don't have to do it, I just chose to. And the last thing you're going to be doing with the tool is you'll notice, now this is going to be hard to see. What I actually did, please focus. Okay, you notice that screw head is very small, and the screw head that came with it is the same size as that. So what I actually did was ran a grinder, and I just spun it on the grinder and brought it down a little bit. Now the reason why I did that is because this is going to be your negative post, and when it is in here, when it's in there, you can see how close it is to that 3/32 hole that we drilled out for the wick. So you don't want it hanging over and shorting out that wick. Okay, then you're going to take the center post with the little riser, excuse me, and incorporate that into the center. So there you go. You have a Genesis device already. Very simple, very easy. What I'm going to do now is just take my 2 O-rings and put them back in there. Okay, make sure they're in all the way. Okay, and there you go. So now I'm going to build a wick for this and start vaping with it. Let me just throw back onto the tube for that. I'm going to just take a little juice. It's a little vanilla juice, just in case anybody, you're going to know why I'm telling you this in a minute. Okay, I'm just gonna lube up them O-rings so the next person that takes this off of here doesn't have any issues with it. Oh. And a little drip tip cut. Okay, there it goes. Back in the package and in the box. Okay, now I'm going to take a piece of 30 by 30 milliliters. Yeah, millimeters. Stainless steel 400 mesh. And I'm going to fold over just the end of this, and crease it with my thumb very, very good. Okay, now it's just very, very small, and I'm going to be using that edge as the outside edge. Now I'm going to take a paper clip, roll it downwards to start the bend in it, and then roll it right up. And I'll get this really nice and tight around this paper clip. This paper clip is not the straightest, but that's not going to matter because I'm going to Need a little bend in it for this one anyhow. I've been working on a car. My hands are probably all greasy under my fingernails are probably all dirty. But alrighty, folks. Now dip it. That's one side. Wipe off the excess onto a paper towel. Do the other side. Clench. That's one for both sides. Now two for that side. Two for that side. This is the last time on this side. Now I'm doing this wick really quick because I have a lot to cover in this video, and I want to try to cover everything in one take, one video. There's three, and this is the last time on this side. Okay, shut this off, bring this out of the camera, dry this up, pull the water out. Now I'm just going to bring some juice, put it on there, and grab my little needle nose and light this up. Of course, I got the fan going. The fan is alright, let's put a little more juice on there. Oh, it's still on fire. Yeah, it's still on fire. That's the second time that's happened to me in a video. Okay. I'm just going to do one more time. We're running kind of short on time. Okay. I'm going to stick back in the paper clip, because what I want to do is I actually want to put a bend in this. I don't want to break the wick, but I want to put just a little bend in it, not much, just like that. Okay, and take it right off, bend it back a little bit. So when I take this, I'll show you what it looks like when this goes into the hole in there. Because it's such a far way away from the positive post, I'm going to have a bend in it. Just a little bit, not much. I'll take a little piece of wire. Whoa. Now, these screws are not going to hold the wire down. So what you're going to actually have to do is, what I've done is leave the negative one up a little bit, And I'm just going to clip off the end and wrap it around there. I'm sorry, I was pulling it out of the camera because I couldn't see so close to the camera. But basically just wrap it around that screw and put your wick in. And I'm just going to give it 3 simple wraps. And then we're going to just wrap around. Nope, we're going to go this way. I forgot. Okay. Just cut that. Because we're not screwing this down, you're going to have to cut it. You're not going to be able to wiggle the excess out. Take the rest of that, put it right around that screw. I'm sorry. I really am sorry that I'm not in the camera. But that's what I got. 3 little wraps. I'm just going to take this excess off with these wire clippers. And I'm just going to throw it on this Ego battery and see what we look like. Okay. Oh, we don't have no power for the Ego. Okay, now we got juice. Now let's see what we got. I think I have a dead battery. Okay, let me just grab this device. I have the old bolt, trusty bolt. There we go. What do we got here now? Okay, we got a nice hot spot right here. In between here, what I like to do is bend that so it's basically going back around, and we'll see if we get there. Actually, it looks pretty good. You really can't see it on the camera. Let me throw some juice on it. See what it looks like. No hot spots, and we're getting good vapor. Alright, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to take the tank. Oh my god, I cannot believe I forgot this. What a rookie mistake. Okay. Before you put your tools away, you are going to need an air hole in the tank. Alright? So now, line up the tank where it's going to be on the tank. So when you put it down all the way to the end, let me just show you here. Put a cap in and put it on the device. Mark it off. Make a little spot halfway in between these black O-rings, or so these black little lines, and halfway in between the little silver. You can see it right there, because you can turn this and line it up. You can turn the tank and line it up with the wick. So, and that's what I did with a 1/16 drill bit. I'm so sorry I forgot this. 1/16. You can see that's the size of that hole. And this is going to be used as your air hole. And I never put juice on these O-rings. Biggest mistake. Before you ever put on the tube, make sure you put some juice on these O-rings. Oop. This is like the 4th time I did this video, and I'm trying to rush through it and it's taking long. But take this, put your tank all the way down, line it up with the wick inside, push it all the way down, and there you go, folks. There's your Genesis device. Okay, just take your syringe filled with juice, put it in that other wick hole, and just fill it up. And you can see on this side, I'm just going to put a little juice in right now. I just filled it halfway up. And wick it up through that wick. The juice is wicking nice. And you can see, this is a steam machine. It really does work good. It is very temperamental with the center post in there, but for the price and the ease of making a Genesis mod, it's not bad. So let me show you how it vapes, and we'll talk a little bit about it. Okay, folks, so there you have it. It's not really that hard, but you know, it takes a little tinkering around with. The issue that I have 4 of these. Now, I made them all into Genesis atomizers, and I have another one that we're going to talk about in a minute. But the 4 that I have, only one of them did not come apart when I was taking off the tank. And what happens is this center post in here will separate, and if you pull hard enough, the wire will disconnect and you're going to have to resolder that. But if you don't pull it apart and if the wire don't come out, you can just push it back in. I used some what's it called, liquid weld there, JD weld there, and I put it back together. But as for that, this is an easy, really inexpensive Genesis device that a person can have, and a nice little project if you want to get into it. But if you have one of these laying around and you didn't like it, you don't know what to do with it, you can do this to it and you might enjoy it. Let me show you how it hits. Let me turn off this fan real quick. Whoa, turned off the light. How about that? Okay. You know, you got the one fan and the one light. I turned off the light, of course. It's like I just moved in here. Alright, so let me show you how to hit it then. Hits again. What a long night. This is like I never do more than one take. This is my 3rd take on this because I've been having issues. Alright, here we go. Nice vapor. No dry hits whatsoever. Flavor is phenomenal. Just like any other, any other Genesis device with an SS stainless steel mesh wick. Awesome flavor. These are like $15 tanks with some stainless steel mesh and a couple drill bits and a little solder. You can have a nice Genesis device. I mean, really inexpensive, nice little project. I like it. But straight out of the box, total fail for me. That's all I'm going to discuss about it. I showed you how to do it. And it's very easy to do. Now, I have a Vivi Tank. that I showed in the video. It's actually still out of the box. That I showed in the video, and I actually put some lubricant around the O-rings that I'm giving away in a contest. And with that Vivi tank, it is like the way you're getting it in the box. It's not a Genesis style. I didn't make the modifications to it. Right out of the box, the way it came from China. Okay. This, and I have a, let me pull it out here. It's a 4, I had it between a book here. It's a 4 by 6 piece of 400 stainless steel mesh. It's got a couple folds in it, but that's totally fine. Some of mine are really folded up. This, and I didn't even bring it over here, but I also have a nice little spool, not a spool, but wrapped around a little piece of card of 32 gauge Kanthal wire that I'm throwing in with this contest. Now, how to enter the contest? All you have to do is be a subscriber to my channel, my YouTube channel, and you have to comment on this video. If you don't comment on the video and you are a subscriber, you will not be entered. So please subscribe to my channel and comment on the video. That is the only way I'm going to be able to tell that you are entered into the contest. I'm so sorry this video went really long. I had tried to make the Genesis device on camera, and the one came apart and I had to re-weld it, and it's been a really pain. So if you do get this, you can use it like it is straight out of the box, but I am going to warn you, if you win this, when you pull off the tank, be very gentle. These do come apart, and if they come apart, I'm not going to replace it if you win it. It's a prize. There's no replacements, and you're doing these modifications at your own risk. I'm not going to be held responsible if you short out your Darwin or whatever you hook it up to. So modifications are at your own risk. This is just the way you're getting it. I'm just giving you suggestions on what I have done. Alright, so there's the contest. There's the video on how to make it. Let me show you one more hit here. And when you hit this, if you've never hit a Genesis device before, what I like to do, a lot of people like to do this, is the air hole, you want it facing the floor. If you have it facing the top, sometimes the juice won't wick up against the stainless steel. So you want it facing the floor, down towards the bottom. And the juice wicks right up the stainless steel. Very nice hit. Beautiful, great flavor. Very nice device. I know I have several Genesis devices, and to tell you the truth, this cheap one holds its own with some of them. Okay? I'm going to let you know that. And it's a very nice device. I actually like them. I don't like that they come apart every time I try to put juice in them. That's why you got to be very careful. And if they do come apart, put some JD Weld in it. Just make sure you don't put it in the area where you're getting your juice. And that's my video, guys. Keep on vaping, and make sure you subscribe and comment for the contest. Take care. Vape on, everybody.